Yeah, Richard, it's a familiar scenario here at Celtic Park as the league flag is about to be unfurled, but for all that, these supporters are very used to this occasion. You can tell they're no less excited by it. The winning feeling, I suppose, never gets old, does it? The Kilmarnock players have come out and they have formed a guard of honour, so now we await the appearance of the champions onto the turf here ahead of the flag being unfurled by the Lisbon Lion. Jim Craig, a well-loved figure around these parts, a regular spectator at the games, and he will be the man to unfurl the flag ahead of kick-off here this afternoon. Here he comes as he is applauded roundly by the Celtic fans as he walks onto this pitch, and he will have the honour of raising the flag, to be followed by the Celtic players as they celebrate this occasion. A symbolic moment rather than one of celebration, said Brendan Rodgers, as the players, I suppose, get down to the serious business of trying to win a 55th league title and a 4th in a row. But certainly it will be the fans who will be enjoying this spectacle. And as you can hear in the background, Callum McGregor being introduced onto the park. He will lead the players out of the tunnel as the incredible, spectacular display around Celtic Park. You'd have to say they are well known for their tifos here, and well, the one with all fans round all 4 stands here at the stadium participating in this one, holding up the green, white and yellow and black flags. And all in all, well, just wait till you see this on TV or in still photographs. It's quite, even from our vantage point, we can't see it all, but it is absolutely spectacular as the fans join in the spectacle here. And the players now have taken their place, lining up alongside the Kilmarnock players as well, either side of the stage, as Jim Craig, the Lisbon Lion, prepares to lift the flag once more. Premiership champions of 23-24, a 54th title in all, and Jim Craig does lift the flag aloft as that achievement is marked once more ahead of Celtic kicking off season 24-25, looking for victory here this afternoon against Kilmarnock, who will of course look to try and spoil the party, aiming to win here for just a second time in 84 visits, or at least take a point as they did back in February, thanks to David Watson's very late equaliser. But that is the flag aloft, and the players now from either side going through the handshakes as Jim Craig and Neil Doncaster, the SPFL chief executive, make their way off the pitch. And soon we will turn our attention to the on-field action, but a really nice moment for Jim Craig and his family as they make their way back pitch side, and the captains alongside Don Robertson, Richard Gordon's favourite referee, just go through the coin toss, and the SPFL Premiership trophy is removed from its plinth, and we're just about ready to get underway. We'll keep you up to date with the closing stages at St Mirren, with plenty of time to be added on there. 1-0 St Mirren leads after their European success in the week. They'll be looking forward to taking on Branbergen in the week, as Kilmarnock also play Tromsø on Thursday in the Europa Conference League, and it looks like it will be the visitors who will get us underway this afternoon as Kyle Vassell, the Killie captain, makes his way into the centre circle. And as you can hear, the Celtic fans, as always, in good voice. It's a pretty spine-tingling anthem. When there's 60,000 people singing it, it certainly does send chills down the spine. But Kilmarnock have to put all of this out of their minds and just concentrate on trying to get a result here as they are about to kick us off. It's Liam Polworth who's taken his place in the centre circle as Kilmarnock in their change strip of a sort of grey top and blue shorts and socks, going from right to left, do get us underway, and immediately the ball is launched long into Celtic territory. Liam Scales gets his head to it, turned out of play. John Collins, a magnificent occasion, but it's important that Celtic, as well as Kilmarnock, of course, immediately turn their attention to the football on the field.
Well, they're used to winning titles, they're used to that kind of start to a season, but first thing Brendan will want a good start.
He certainly will. I have to say that Celtic are pretty good at opening day victories. As Kilmarnock put the ball though into the Celtic penalty area, Rio Hatate hacks it away. Just one opening day defeat in their last 16. That was at Tynecastle in Ange Postecoglou's first league game back in 2021. But they haven't lost at home on match day 1 in 34 games, won 30 and drawn 4 of them since a 4-3 defeat by Morton back in 1950-51. So history rather against Kilmarnock here, but it's them that's making the early action, and they've won themselves a corner over there on the right hand side. I didn't know the referee eventually pointing for a goal kick. I thought Kyle Vassell had played it off a Celtic player, but now Celtic can try and come forward. It's an early touch at the back for Ollie Bainbridge in at left back, as Derek McInnes pointed out, a senior football debut for him, having come in on loan from Sunderland. A big day for him, Cammy.
Yeah, huge day for the young kid, and it's like, listen, you either sink or swim in these moments, and hopefully from a Kilmarnock point of view he swims through this game. But it's been a really positive start from Kilmarnock, very physical, ball up to Kyle Vassell, as we know, and then the long throw in from David Watson as well to cause trouble for the Celtic defence. So it's been a positive start from Killy's point of view.
Celtic in possession though, in the shape of Cameron Carter-Vickers, who plays it square across the halfway line to Liam Scales, and then out to Forrest, who started on the left. He plays it in towards the penalty area, knocked away though by Mayo, only as far as Scales, who gets it to his captain Callum McGregor, and now it's Hatate on the left hand side, midway in the side, the Kilmarnock half. It's back now with Scales once more, who takes his place alongside Carter-Vickers at the heart of the defence. Kilmarnock trying to keep Celtic out here as Forrest picks up left hand side. Cutting in on his right foot, just nudges it back to McGregor. And now Greg Taylor infield to Forrest. 3 Celtic players all at the Euros, albeit neither Taylor nor Forrest got on the field. A disappointing campaign on the whole. Here's Taylor out to the right hand side looking for Kuhn. Kuhn looked to foul Bainbridge there, he does, right on the edge of the Kilmarnock penalty area, and it will be a Killie free kick. Played 3 minutes here at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, Kilmarnock 0.
As you expect, Celtic now are settling into possession, trying to get the ball wide. But what the Celtic team can't do, they can't put high balls at the box. When you've got Kyogo, they've got to be very precise. And I think the best route is always get it to the winger, full-backs overlapping, trying to get the byline, cutbacks. That's where Kyogo is so sharp. So obviously Kilmarnock will try and stop them to do that.
The free kick's taken long. Matty Kennedy will try to make something of it, but it's knocked away by Scales up towards the halfway line, but out of play for a Killie throw-in right on the halfway line, as Derek McInnes and Brendan Rodgers both suited and booted for the opening day of their league season at the edge of their technical areas. Just taking a keen interest in how the opening minutes unfold here as Bainbridge throws it down the line. McGregor rises but heads it out of play. It's a throw into Kilmarnock, left hand side. Matty Kennedy, who scored the winner down at Rugby Park against Celtic back in December, leaves it to Bainbridge. Bainbridge throws it into Vassell. Vassell kind of back in there, but he's lost his footing and it's knocked away. But Kilmarnock get it back in towards the edge of the Celtic penalty area. Scales heads it left to Taylor, who gets it clear as far as Hatate, and then Forrest nudges it back to Taylor, but he's quickly closed down by Murray, who caught Greg Taylor, former Kilmarnock fullback, and it will be a free kick, nothing more, on the edge of the penalty area 4.5 minutes played. Celtic 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, you can see from Kilmarnock's point of view how direct they're going to go, and the physicality of Vassell up front. They want to get the ball up to him as quick as possible, and he's brilliant at holding the ball in as well and linking up play. So, and you see when they're out possession how narrow and how good a shape they're keeping. They're really interacting with each other. So it's going to be a tough task for Celtic to break this Killie team down.
Yeah, and I guess the longer that Killie can keep them out, the more restless perhaps the crowd can get. But Brendan Rodgers was talking pre-match about trying to get that fast passing football going as early as possible and get the breakthrough, which will be crucial here as to how the game pans out. McGregor just nudges it to his right hand side to Johnston for Kuhn midway inside the Kilmarnock half, comes in off the right hand side. Bainbridge tracks him and he passes to Scales, who will bring it forward. Watson comes out to meet him midway inside Kilmarnock territory. Taylor back to Scales once more, into the captain Callum McGregor to his right. Kyogo nudges it on for Hatate. Hatate looked up and he was well challenged there at the edge of his box, and it will be a throw-in. We've got a goal at St Mirren. We'll get to Kennedy in just a second as Celtic have taken the throw-in quickly, and it's on the right hand side with Kuhn plays a low ball in, it's knocked away by Kennedy. Carter Vickers will pick up, and now it's Scales plays it forward to Forrest, back with Scales once more, square to Carter Vickers out to the right hand side. Nicholas Kuhn up against Bainbridge, about 10 yards from the goal line, trying to take him on the outside, cuts it back with the right foot. It's a good ball, but it evades everyone, and Fraser Murray sweeps it up to the halfway line. Kuhn couldn't have been asked to provide a better ball into the penalty area, but no takers behind three different Celtic players in the end, and Kilmarnock clear the lines for the moment. 6 played, still 0-0 as Forrest plays it into Hatate, edge of the box, back into Forrest hits the deck, but there's nothing doing there, and Robbie McCrory will keep it in play quickly across to St Mirren, and Kennedy and Sand.
2-0 to St Mirren. Oisin Smith with the headed goal after a bit of a defensive nightmare from Hibs. Looks like all the points are staying here. Saints 2, Hibs 0.
The Buddies heading top of the league then.
3-0.
Take it away, Kennedy.
Make that 3. They've just got a quick fire third. It might be the same goal scorer, Oisin Smith. I'm pretty sure it was. We'll get that confirmed for you. But they broke down the right hand side. Lovely cross in. First time finish into the bottom right hand corner. A second goal for Oisin Smith. He's just come on as a substitute in the space of a couple of minutes. Definite 3 points here for St Mirren. Great stuff.
Just Forrest left hand side for Celtic, curls it in. A dangerous ball. Matty Kennedy was last man back there to prevent it getting to Alistair Johnson. He knocks it out of play over on the far side, but Celtic cranking up the pressure here. But what a start to the league season for St Mirren to follow on from their European success, and they are heading top of the table as things stand, the only team to have 3 points thus far, assuming that they hold on to that, and it looks very much like a done deal there. Celtic will be very much hoping to join them on 3 points, and they're hot favourites to do that as O'Reilly gives chase for a through ball from Kuhn, but it's too much on it. Behind for a goal kick. We've played 8 minutes here at Celtic Park, goalless, but John Collins, that's a poor start for Hibernian, you'd have to say.
Yeah, very poor start. Last thing they need is 3 goals defeat, and they've got Celtic the next couple of games, so difficult start for Hibs and David Gray, but he's got to keep battling. I'm watching Kuhn here in the wide on the right hand side, so 4 times or 5 times he's had it. He's went inside 4 times and not caused any problems. The one time he goes on the outside, he gets to the byline and causes havoc. I'd love to see him go on the outside, use his pace more often. He seems to tend to drift inside.
I mean, I guess naturally I want to go in on his stronger foot, as much as you would hope that a professional footballer can pretty much kick it with 2 feet. Here's Kennedy inside the Celtic penalty area, tries to curl it towards the top corner, but gets too much elevation on the shot, and it's well over Kasper Schmeichel's crossbar, and it remains after almost 9 minutes. Celtic 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, it's that direct ball up to Vassell. He's so powerful and strong up there. He makes it difficult for defenders, and it felt to Matty Kennedy, and I felt as if Matty should have hit the target there. Just work the goalkeeper. He gets too much on it and it goes over the bar.
Yeah, but a glimpse of the Celtic goal certainly for Kilmarnock, and a bit of encouragement that they can get up the park as Celtic have hemmed them in for the previous few minutes. Here's Scales bringing it forward out to Taylor into Hatate, now back with Liam Scales about 15 yards inside his own half. Gets it back again from Taylor. And out to the former Kilmarnock fullback once again. He's forward to Hatate. A couple of groans there as Hatate plays it back to Liam Scales, who plays a 1-2 with Callum McGregor, then plays it out to Forrest on the left-hand side. He plays a 1-2 there with Taylor. Now it's back with McGregor midway inside the Kilmarnock half. Kilmarnock got plenty of bodies back as Hatate bundles through a couple of challenges. Carter Vickers now for Callum McGregor, who tries to drive Celtic forward. Forrest flicks it on, doesn't quite come off. Hatate though gets it back to O'Reilly. O'Reilly holds on to possession and then plays it back to McGregor. McGregor out once more in the angle of the box to O'Reilly. Swings it in. Finlay gets his head to it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Helped on out of the penalty area, and Vassell tries to make something of it against Hatate. Kilmarnock have just about held on to it, but back comes Kyogo to help win it. Now it's Johnston out to Kuhn, right hand side, up against Bainbridge. Will he go outside? Plays it for Johnston, dinks it in. It's a good climb there by Finlay to make sure he got the header. Now it's Hatate though on the edge of the box, trying to find room for the shot. Back to Taylor instead. Now McGregor, 30 yards from goal. Back to Taylor once more, into O'Reilly. Tries to quick pass for Kyogo. It's cut out. Kilmarnock having to work hard here to stay in the game, not allow Celtic those quick passes at the edge of the box. They've done well to do so thus far, but it's a long way to go. 10 minutes played, 0-0, and it's Celtic with pretty much incessant pressure in these early stages. Here's Forrest, left hand side, looking to pick up where he left off at the tail end of last season, where he came into the team and did really well, reminded everyone just what a quality winger he is. Here's Carter Vickers out to the right hand side for Kuhn, who also came on to a game at the end of the season and has started pre-season well. He comes inside, finds McGregor for Forrest, but a good challenge there at the edge of the box by Lyons in that auxiliary right back role, and it's a tough task up against James Forrest. And here is Forrest once more, hugging the touchline, left hand side, plays it with the outside of his boots. A lovely ball for Hatate. Hatate on to, I think he was looking for Kuhn, but O'Reilly took it on, and then he's just had the ball played off him, and it's behind for a goal kick. And Celtic, for all their pressure, haven't troubled Robbie McCrory as yet in the Kilmarnock goal, and it remains 0-0.
They're looking sharp, keeping the ball moving nice and quick, trying to feed the wingers, but the disappointing thing is they haven't yet worked the goalkeeper. Brendan will be a little bit disappointed with that. But Kilmarnock, credit to Kilmarnock, they're nice and organised, they're staying compact.
That's what absolutely you would expect from a Derek McInnes side. 12 minutes in, and nothing for either goalkeeper to do on Flag Day here at Celtic Park. St Mirren leading by 3-0, Dundee United, and Dundee drawing the derby earlier on 2-2, sounding like a fabulous game at Tannadice, and plenty of goals going in Paisley as well. None so far here at Celtic Park, as Taylor is quickly closed down by Fraser Murray. He only started one game in the league last season, Fraser Murray. You feel like, you know, he's really got to try and make an impact this season.
Yeah, he does. It's difficult. He plays in a position that Kilmarnock's probably two strongest players, and Matty Kennedy and Danny Armstrong, who were so good for them last season. So it's been difficult. I thought he made a real impact in the home game in the European game last week. So it's an opportunity for him here today.
Well, he made an impact there on Liam Scales as he slid in, and he's very fortunate, I think, to avoid a yellow card. He slid in with very little chance of winning the ball, and Don Robertson has eventually brought it back. There was no real advantage to Celtic, and
I liked what I seen from Liam Scales, a centre half who got up, never tried to get him booked. Many a player would have been rolling about trying to get him booked, but he got up.
Yeah, it was a wild challenge from Fraser Murray. As you say, Al, he was getting nowhere near the ball as well.
You can understand he's keen to make an impact, get involved, but needs to just temper his challenges there somewhat. Free kicks taken. It's 13.5 minutes in. Celtic 0, Kilmarnock 0, and here is Scales coming forward. Slides it through for O'Reilly, who'll catch that. Kyogo at the near post, can't quite make the connection to make any real effect as Mayo covered him, and then there's a free kick there for a challenge by Hatate on Donnelly, and a bit of respite for Kilmarnock, who have been largely on the back foot, but have been well organised, as we've been saying, and it remains Celtic 0, Kilmarnock 0 in these early stages. Bobby McCrory in no massive hurry to take this goal kick. What have you made of his couple of games so far, Cammy? Certainly on Thursday night, couldn't have really been faulted for the goal. But been a couple of slight scares when cross balls have come into his box.
Yeah, there has been. There's been a few shaky moments, but again, you've got to remember Robbie's not played a lot of football when he's been at Rangers, but he's had a solid start to his Kilmarnock career for me.
Here's Forrest coming down the left as the Celtic fans get excited there for a moment. The ball's cleared out of the penalty area. Yeah, McCrory's shot stopping hasn't been in doubt, certainly. It was just a couple of cross balls that I've seen him flap somewhat, but this season he'll look to establish himself very much as a first choice here as O'Reilly picks up left-hand side, looking to take on Watson. He's done that. Now he dinks it into the penalty. It's over Finlay, but Bainbridge with a good solid header clear. He started pretty well, pretty confidently. The 19-year-old in from Sunderland on Friday. Johnson now picking up for Celtic, midway inside the Kilmarnock half, into the feet of Kyogo. Lovely little turn. Kyogo tries to dink over McCrory, and it's off the line by Mayo. Brilliant defending as McCrory just got a touch as Kyogo tried to lift it over him. Almost Kyogo off the mark, but a brilliant bit of defending in the end from Lewis Mayo to keep it scoreless.
Tremendous play from Kyogo. The ball fired in hard at his feet. He just took it in the back foot. A lovely little turn. Keepers came out. He's tried to dink it. The keeper's got there sharp, just deflected it enough.
It was a brilliant bit of play from Kyogo, but a huge credit to Robbie McCrory in there. He got a touch on it, slowed the ball up and allowed his defender to clear it off the line.
Yeah, McCrory and Mayo both combining there to ensure that Kyogo didn't get off the mark. Mayo, it was involved with Donnelly in the mix-up that led to the Cercle Bruges winner on Thursday, but more than making up for it there as Celtic pick up possession. It's Hatate with a shot. Goal! The first goal of the season for the champions of Scotland, and it's Reo Hatate who has Celtic off the mark just a moment after Kyogo was denied. But Reo Hatate from 20 yards with a low shot. McCrory got down but couldn't keep it out. It's Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Tremendous finish, but it all came from Celtic. Lost possession, but instantly the first intention was press it, and can we win it back straight away at the edge of the box? They did. And it's a terrific finish, bottom right-hand corner. I don't think the keeper had a chance.
No, it was a brilliant finish back in Kilmarnock. They had possession. I think it was Brad Lyons. He gave away possession in the box. And it was, as you say, John, it was a fantastic finish. I don't think Robbie could have got down to that one.
Reo Hatate with the opening goal for Celtic from the edge of the box. As Celtic won possession back in a dangerous area, and a low shot. McCrory gets down to his right hand side but can't reach it, and in it goes, and it's Celtic with the early advantage. And Kilmarnock now with it all to do. They just, Brendan Rodgers spoke about the counter press pre-match, didn't he? And that's exactly what they did. They won it back in that dangerous area, and Hatate it was who pounced.
Yeah, I think Derek McKiss will be human with his defending there. I think you need to clear your lines, and as I say, I think it was Brad Lyons that possibly gave the ball away. Maybe a midfielder thinking he had too much time.
Bainbridge gets it back to McCrory as Hatate tried to feed Kuhn. Reo Hatate got 3 goals last season, and that's his first of this one. And that's put the crowd here in an even better mood than they were. Free kick-off, 18 minutes played. Celtic with the advantage. Thanks to Reo Hatate's strike from the edge of the penalty area. And yeah, Kilmarnock will be disappointed at the manner of losing possession when they had the ball and an ability to clear it. But here's Forrest coming forward on the left-hand side as Celtic look to get a quick second. Scales plays it square for Carter Vickers, about 15 yards inside Kilmarnock territory. Square again for Scales, who plays it forward to Forrest, who's come into a central area. Back with Scales. And now Hatate, the goal scorer. Scales again once more. O'Reilly flicks it on. Hatate's made the move. He was challenged just as he tried to shoot. No free kick. It was a fair challenge, I think, from Donnelly, who got back just in time to impede Hatate's shot. And Kilmarnock have managed to get it up towards the halfway line. Polworth, though, is lost out to Johnston. Bainbridge helps it forward to Kennedy. Kennedy now on the left-hand side with a big switch out to Murray. Murray about 20 yards inside Celtic territory. Back comes Forrest to track him. Murray still has it though, up towards the penalty. It's a good ball in actually. Kennedy tries to attack it, but he can't climb high enough, and he was fouling Johnston as he tried to, and it will be a free kick to Celtic inside the penalty area. 90 minutes in, Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0.
That was Kilmarnock's best phase of play, switchy play out to the right, and a terrific delivery in the box. Unfortunately a little foul there, but they've got to try and get a hold of the ball. Kilmarnock need a little rest with the ball, can't constantly keep giving it back to Celtic. So many good players are going to punish you.
Here's Kuhn trying to get away from Bainbridge. Puts it forward for Kyogo. Now it's O'Reilly. Tries to play it back into the path. Off Kyogo. Good save. Robbie McCrory throws himself to his right hand side as Kyogo let fly from inside the area on the left foot. And Robbie McCrory keeps it at 1-0.
Tremendous link-up play with O'Reilly and Kyogo.
Here comes Celtic again. Ball quickly back in play. Taylor gets it to McGregor. Hatate tries his luck from distance, well over the top and wide from Hatate on that occasion. 20 played. Celtic looking for further goals, but it's still 1-0.
Yeah, they're playing with a real intensity and they're hurting Kilmarnock at every chance they can going forward. It was a brilliant bit of play between O'Reilly and Kyogo there, and a good save from Robbie McCrory to keep the score at 1-0.
Yeah, flew across to his right hand side to deny Kyogo after he and O'Reilly had linked up to great effect, and Celtic fans clearly will be hoping they can hold on to Matt O'Reilly, with a number of clubs, including reportedly Chelsea is the latest one to have been linked with them. We might hear a bit more than that post-match from Brendan Rodgers, but none of the bids, certainly from the likes of Atalanta or Southampton, that have come in so far have met Celtic's valuation, and they're absolutely under no pressure to sell. And here is O'Reilly playing that one long, looking over the top for Hatate. Finlay though is there in charge of the situation, just sees that back to McCrory, and after 21 minutes it's Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0. Is this the right time, John, from Matt O'Reilly's perspective, to move on?
Well, it's a difficult one. He's been an outstanding signing from the first game he played at Celtic. He's been superb. He fitted in terrifically. Ange Postecoglou. Sometimes you watch him and you think, is he half a yard short in pace? And other times he looks sharp. He's one of those players, when his confidence is high, it looks like he can do everything. Takes it in, plays killer passes. What I like about him, he takes it on the back foot and always looks to play forward. And those players are worth a premium.
Yeah, such a cultured left foot. And as you were saying before the game, Johnny's numbers last season were phenomenal. Kilmarnock have got themselves a free kick for the challenge by O'Reilly on Kennedy, who's down on the touchline there. Yeah, picking himself up here, but it will be a free kick to Kilmarnock, pretty much midway inside the Celtic half, left hand side. And well, they're not going to get too many opportunities to get the ball into the Celtic box. Set pieces might well be some of their best opportunities to get on the score sheet, and they trail by 1-0 here as the quarter point in the game just ticks round, as Fraser Murray now stands over the free kick, just half a yard in from the touchline, left hand side. Plays it in towards the edge of the penalty area. Finlay's up there, it breaks down to Lyons. Can he get the shot away? It's Donnelly who in the end gets the shot, but it's straight at Schmeichel. First save he's had to make, but it's straight into his arms. A bit of a trundler in the end from Donnelly at the edge of the box. Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, he just doesn't catch it right. It falls for him. Brad Lyons tried to get a wee shot away, and it fell to the Kilmarnock player. He didn't catch it quite right, but that's the physicality. Again, a long ball into the box, up to Finlay, who battles with his defender. The ball falls to him, and as you say, Al, that could be their best opportunities in this game.
Celtic have it over on the left hand side. Taylor back to Scales, now McGregor, and Carter Vickers inside the centre circle. Forward to Taylor. Taylor just plays it to his left. Scales back once more with Taylor, back again with Carter Vickers. Scales will pick up again and is allowed to advance. No one coming to meet him. Played on by Taylor into the box, looking for Kyogo. It was Hatate who found the pass for Kyogo, but he was denied at the front post. But he also looks sprightly at the start of this season. Perhaps not at his best last season by his high standards that he set for himself in the previous two seasons, but he does look sharp already, doesn't he, John?
Good movement, good play from Hatate there. Cuts it back, but I really like the movement of Kyogo. So sharp in that box.
Throw in Kelly, midway inside the Celtic half, left-hand side. Bainbridge takes into Vassell, battling away. He's knocked to the ground, is he? Well, he's got himself back up, and he's played the ball into the back post. A wonderful ball and a good strike from Kennedy that's saved by Schmeichel. Terrific play from Kyle Vassell. Brilliant strength, and then the ball in was superb for Kennedy, who really got a hold of it, but unfortunately for him it was straight at Schmeichel, and he kept it out. 1-0 it stands for Celtic.
Superb from Kyle Vassell, shows so much strength. Carter Vickers has him on the ground and he gets back up still with the ball, puts in a brilliant cross, and Matty Kennedy just doesn't catch it right again. It was a decent effort, but comfortable for Kasper Schmeichel.
Not often you see Carter Vickers getting out muscled.
Certainly isn't, but Vassell is a real handful, and again, we're speaking about this in the last couple of European games. He looks maybe even fitter than he's been in his time at Kilmarnock, and that doesn't bode well for opposing defenders, as Carter Vickers almost found to his cost there. But Kennedy, I thought he did actually catch it pretty well, just that he didn't get the angle on the shot perhaps to test Schmeichel, who was able to take it pretty well, but he met it quite fiercely, I felt. But anyway, remains 1-0 Celtic. We've played 25 minutes. Rio Hatate with the only goal of the game so far after 17 minutes, as Carter Vickers plays it forward to Kyogo, then back to Scales. Forward for Taylor out to the left hand side to Forrest. He's up against Kilmarnock backline are backing off, and then O'Reilly picks up the ball about 20 yards from goal and gets the shot off, but that's also not going to trouble Robbie McCrory. He's able to gather that pretty well. 26 played, Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0.
And James Forrest looking very sharp, isn't he? He's looking lively, he's getting lots of the ball. They're finding it hard to pin him down.
Ball's out of play over on the far side. It's going to be a Kilmarnock throw in just about 10 yards or so inside the Celtic half. Still 3-0 St Mirren. I think that game's still going on, is it? Yeah, just about finished, you would imagine. Oh, still 10 minutes were added on, so because of the faulty VAR, but doesn't seem to be any doubt about where the points are heading. St Mirren leading by 3-0 against Hibernian. 2-2 in the Dundee derby earlier in the day. All the action on Sports Scene this evening from 7:15. Here's Kyogo inside the centre circle, plays out to the right hand side looking for Kuhn. Bainbridge though back there quickly to close him down. He doesn't look phased on his senior debut for any club, but certainly his debut for Kilmarnock.
No, he started the game really well. He's been very aggressive with Kuhn, and it's a difficult opponent he's facing. Kuhn wants to go at him, but he's dealt with him so far.
Here's Scales midway inside the Kilmarnock half, coming forward up to the edge of the penalty. Kyogo's on the move, he's onside, and but only into the side netting with the attempted cross in the left foot, and it will be a goal kick to Kilmarnock. Robbie McCrory, clad all in reds, is actually full-time in Paisley, so let's just quickly get a wrap-up of the proceedings there from Kerrdine Nidsan.
Yeah, Saints' super start to the season continues. 4 goals in Europe in midweek, a further 3 here today. They all came in a second half in which they completely swatted Hibs aside. 2 new signings stood out. Roland Adowu for his excellent goal just after the break that got the ball rolling. He also nearly made it 2 but hit the post. Also the former Northern Irish under-21 midfielder O'Sheen Smith on as a second half substitute. What an impact he made, capitalising on an awful Hibs defensive mistake to nod the ball in, and then moments later on the end of a nice St Mirren break down the right to fire in for a bottom corner finish. 2 goals for him, 3 for St Mirren, and they've got big European games to come. Great stuff from St Mirren. Hibs though, a worrying start to the new season.
Top of the table then for the Buddies in this nascent Premiership season, and the only victory thus far. 1-0 here though to Celtic with almost half an hour played. Liam Scales in possession out to the left hand side to Forrest. Forrest has Taylor ahead of him. He cuts infield and then plays it to Hatate on the edge of the box. He's closed down by Polworth. Again, Kilmarnock almost running into trouble. Hatate's won it back on the edge of the box. Taylor now has that handball from Donnelly. It seemed to strike the arm, and it looked to be out from the body, but nothing given at this stage. But I think it's going to be checked. as Don Robertson just asked for a delay to the throw-in, but the throw-in is quickly taken and no penalty awarded. As Celtic will come forward once again. Here's Johnston. Johnston just plays it to his left-hand side. McGregor then plays it on to Hatate. Hatate back to Johnston, 20 yards out, just tries to lift it into the area. Away by Donnelly, only as far as Kuhn, still inside the box. It's O'Reilly on the edge of the box. If he can get a shot in, it could be dangerous. Polworth charges it down though. Kyogo trying to make something of it, as Kilmarnock eventually just hack it clear out there on the right-hand side as the half-hour mark ticks around. And there's a problem here in the sense that some of the flags that the fans were asked to lift above their heads pre-match have found their way onto the field of play, and they're beginning to become an obstacle to play. So Don Robertson is just asking for some of them to be removed before play can resume. So half an hour gone at Celtic Park, and it's the champions leading by a goal to nil, and John Collins, pretty good value for that, you'd have to say.
Yeah, you would say near enough total domination without creating lots of clear-cut chances. But they're looking sharp, Celtic, they're looking confident. But I think I'd like to see more shots on target. That's the one disappointing thing, I think. But Kilmarnock will tire, and I've no doubt Celtic will cut them open.
Yeah, it's the concentration levels Kilmarnock need to keep up, and when you defend for this long in a game, it's very difficult. But I've been really impressed with Celtic. I think they started the game superbly, been really sharp, play with intensity as well, so it's going to be a long afternoon for Kilmarnock.
Yeah, I just wonder if the fact that they played 2 games already, does that, yeah, that'll have taken it out of their legs, but also it's competitive action which Celtic haven't had. Does that in some way also stand Kilmarnock in quite good stead for what lies ahead?
Yeah, I think it does. I think that their season's already started. Not run, as you say, so important games in Europe that they've had, and difficult ones. So they've had challenges, but again, they're not with a full squad here, which is always difficult coming to Celtic Park, even with your best players available. So it's a challenge for the guys on the pitch, and it's one that it's going to be a difficult afternoon, conceding that early goal.
Yeah, disappointing not to have Marley Watkins available either. Derek McInnes saying he had a groin issue this morning, and that kept him out of the squad, having just come back to fitness to start the second leg. But Kilmarnock by no means do themselves any harm in terms of the performances they put in against Cercle Bruges. Disappointing to ultimately lose to a preventable goal, but they turned in pretty decent performances in both legs against the 4th place side in Belgium. As here they come forward, it's Watson finding Kennedy, left-hand side, tries to step away from Kuhn, who was backtracking, and the winger is a good challenge in and manages to win possession back for Celtic with 13 minutes left until the interval. It's Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0. Scales plays it out to the left-hand side for Taylor, back with Scales, who brings it up towards the halfway line. Kilmarnock backing off, back into the shape, as Scales gets it back from McGregor, and once more from Taylor, making some headway down that left-hand side. And now it's Forrest picking up, comes away from Murray, about 25 yards from the goal line, tries to get it back from Hatate, but Hatate's pass was wayward. The man who opened the scoring here this afternoon, Japanese midfielder, who's linked with Leicester City, I noticed. But again, like O'Reilly, Celtic fans very much hoping they can hold on to quality players such as Rio Hatate. There's Scales into Hatate, plays the bounce pass back to the Irish defender. Now it's out with O'Reilly, who's gone over to that left touchline, gets away from Polworth, I think it was, over on the right hand side. It's a dangerous looking ball, but no Celtic player able to connect with the cross from that left hand side, and it's out now on the near side for a Kilmarnock throw. And just a little bit of a rest to that Kilmarnock backline, who have been working doggedly to keep the scoreline down at this stage. They have conceded the opening goal, but no further damage as yet, as Mayo nods it forward for Kennedy, still inside his own half. But it's good play, good skill from Kennedy to get it up to Vassell, who works hard again and gets it back to Kennedy, who's now up against Scales, left hand side, slips it through, looking for the run of Watson. McGregor's back though to intercept before it will get through to the young midfielder, and applauded for his work ethic there, Callum McGregor, as he tracked back and prevented Kilmarnock making some headway. But they've had a couple of decent passages like that, Kilmarnock, and they'll need to keep trying to plug away. But it's Forrest coming forward, left hand side into the box. It comes. Kyogo again makes the near post run, gets it for Kuhn. Kuhn denied. Oh, brilliant from McCrory. He got back up to deny Kuhn on the rebound, to turn it onto his crossbar and over the top. And Robbie McCrory showed exactly why he's been given the gloves here at Kilmarnock. Two terrific stops, the second one in particular, Cammy Bell, great reactions.
Yeah, brilliant. Firstly, brilliant defending from Finlay there when the ball came in, made the challenge, and then Robbie makes the save, and as you say, it's that sharpness getting back up to touch that one over the bar. Big save from Robbie.
Quality play from James Forrest out there. He's really positive, getting to the byline, cutting the ball back. Who's in the box? 6 yard box. Kyogo again, he nearly gets the first one and couldn't nearly got the second.
O'Reilly's corner headed away by Finlay. Not entirely clear though. It comes back to O'Reilly, right hand side. Now McGregor, short ball in to Kuhn inside the area, right hand side still. In fact, it's out for a throw in. It was Greg Taylor who was crossing that right hand side, doing his best Nicholas Kuhn impression in the wing area. Here's Forrest trying the snapshot from the edge of the box. Now it comes to Taylor, gets it back to Forrest, left hand side. He'll keep it in right on the goal line now. James Forrest curls it near post, headed away by Mayo, out for a throw in over on the far side. 10 minutes of the first half left. Kilmarnock desperately trying to avoid any further damage to the score line as far as they're concerned. 1-0 they trail, but it's Celtic doing the lion's share of the pressing here as Johnston on the right hand side picks up. But 10 yards from the goal line, back to Kuhn. Kuhn comes in field, then plays it to Scales. Scales midway inside the Kilmarnock half, steps forward. Half a thought there about a shot, I think, but then thinks better of it. Plays it to Forrest. He gets it to Taylor, who's challenged but still manages to play the pass to Scales. Then McGregor and O'Reilly and Hattati link up to the edge of the penalty area. Taylor can't keep a hold of it, and it's played back to McCrory, who just hammers it long up towards the halfway line for Vassell to go and battle. He gets the better of Scales, then he hits the deck and he's fouled, and it's terrific striker play again from Kyle Vassell. Wins his side a free kick 15 yards inside Celtic territory, and it will be a free kick to the visitors. Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0, 36 played.
Again, brilliant from Kyle Vassell, exactly what Kilmarnock needed, just to take some pressure off the defence. They've been defended so deep for so long, and it's a long ball up the pitch from McCrory. He just uses his body, makes it awkward for defenders, buys the foul, and exactly what you want from your striker.
Free kick then to Kilmarnock, about 15-20 yards inside the Celtic half, to be taken by Kennedy. It's right of centre, the Celtic line just about 5 or 6 yards outside the penalty area, but the ball is played right into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel. Really disappointing delivery from Matty Kennedy, who's capable of so much better than that. Comfortable take for Schmeichel, who's been largely untroubled in his Celtic debut, John Collins.
Yeah, he's looking very assured though with the ball at his feet. Whenever it comes to his hands, he's looking sharp. As soon as he gets it in his hands, he's looking to distribute the ball nice and quick. Everything you want from a goalkeeper.
Hattati plays it forward for O'Reilly at the goal line, right footed cross. It's headed out of the gloves almost to McCrory by Finlay, and then foul on the edge of the box by Callum McGregor.
Good movement again from O'Reilly. Just Watson loses him, gets the cross in, and it was a little bit of a mix up between the goalie and the defender, but they got away with that one.
Free kick to Celtic at the edge of the penalty area, sorry, to Kilmarnock at the edge of their own penalty area, with just over 7 minutes left in this first period. Derek McInnes annoyed at the assistant here on this near side for not flagging against O'Reilly. I'm not sure he was offside, but anyway, the free kick is given for the infringement, and it's flicked on down that right hand side by Lyons, out of play off a Celtic head, and it'll be a Kelly throw 30 yards or thereabouts inside the Celtic half, over on the far side, the Kilmarnock right. Can they somehow manage to find a leveller? Haven't been able to threaten Kasper Schmeichel too often as yet. Back it goes to McCrory, who's midway inside his own half. He fires it long, he's looking for Vassell. Vassell gives chase, but out comes Schmeichel, takes no chances and nudges it out of play. Greg Taylor was certain that Vassell had gone offside, and he kind of looked like it, but Schmeichel taking no chances. The throw-in's quickly taken. That's a good ball in from Murray, and Watson wasn't too far away from getting on the end of that under pressure from Scales, and he just couldn't make contact, the young midfield, and it comes out for a throw-in this near side. But a good delivery from Murray, and Watson close, Cammy, to making contact.
Yeah, another good delivery. That's been a couple he's put in the box from Fraser Murray. A really good ball in. It was just behind Matty Kennedy at the back. Watson was coming in. So listen, Kilmarnock have got up the pitch. They have threatened Celtic. Celtic have dealt with it comfortably, but Kilmarnock will be happy for half-time, being 1-0, I think.
Celtic have the ball as they cross the halfway line. Liam Scales out to Forrest. Gets it back from Taylor. Forrest down the left flank, shrugs off Murray. Tries to get the cross, and it comes off Brad Lyons, and behind for a corner. The Celtic over on that far side. And Matt O'Reilly trots across to take this one. James Forrest just leaving it to the Danish international. And O'Reilly will be with the outswinger then, and the left foot from that left-hand side with just over 5 minutes to play. And it comes. Scales makes it. Goal! Liam Scales with Celtic's second of the afternoon. A pinpoint corner kick from Matt O'Reilly, and up rose Liam Scales at the near post, about 8 yards from goal, to guide it in at the far post. This Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Textbook corner, good delivery, good movement from Scales. He gets a yard in front of the defender, headers it, good header. For me, from this angle, it looks like the keeper's no chance.
Yeah, it's a brilliant header for me. A great direction from Scales with his header. He just loses. Mayo gets a yard on him, and it's a fantastic header into the far corner.
Yeah, just watching the reruns on the screens here at Celtic Park, he's guided it right in off the far post as he lost his marker.
That's a tremendous leap, timed it really well. He just glanced it right in the corner, in off the post. Keeper, no chance.
As you say, the way he guides that into the corner, it's a brilliant header from Scales.
Yeah, Liam Scales off the mark then. Just one goal last season for Celtic, but a terrific header to really disappoint Derek McInnes, no doubt, just before half-time, which makes it a massive uphill struggle for the second half. 1-0 you can kind of contend with. 2-0 against Celtic away from home is going to be very, very difficult to try and salvage anything from, but Celtic have been on the front foot for the most part, and they are started the season as they surely mean to go on. 2 goals to the good in this first period with Rio Hatate, and now Liam Scales on the score sheet, and they're already looking for more as Forrest drives down the left-hand side, plays it into Taylor. He goes back to McGregor. McGregor for Scales, the goal scorer. Scales then playing it forward for Forrest on the angle of the box, left-hand side, cuts in on his right, and he gets the shot away. McCrory just scoops it behind for another Celtic corner. Forrest's shot looked to be on target, and McCrory gets enough on it to turn it behind.
Again, Forrest, the danger man. He's hugging the touchline on the other side. He's getting it wide, and he's on that run. He's in the mood, you can tell. He's jinking left, right, coming inside. Good strike. Easy save, I think, for the keeper. Maybe should have held it.
O'Reilly's corner from the right-hand side this time's dangerous, and Vassell just knocks it behind for another corner. Again on the right-hand side for Matt O'Reilly to take. 1 assist already for him this afternoon. Plenty of those last season, and he's looking for another as he arrows this one to Hatate at the edge of the box, and he gets it all wrong. Rio Hatate. It was obviously a training ground move, but didn't connect at all on his left foot as he tried to volley that goalwards, and it will remain Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0.
You'd have been like to be on the end of that one, John. It was a brilliant ball from O'Reilly right to him, and he just gets it all wrong.
He's mistimed it, but you're right, O'Reilly's clipped it beautifully, flighted it.
Goal kick then to Kilmarnock with a couple of minutes left in this first period. Don't think there'll be too much in the way of added on time, if any, actually. I can't recall any stoppages as Liam Scales, the man who got Celtic's second goal just a couple of minutes ago, picks up possession, and now it's Johnston just inside his own half, plays it to O'Reilly. O'Reilly on the halfway line, back to Carter Vickers. Celtic looking very, very comfortable in this opening half. Derek McInnes very animated as his side are on the defensive once again. It's Kuhn forced out of the box by Finlay, right hand side, and shows too much of it to Polworth, but does manage to get it to Johnston, infield to O'Reilly. Now Kuhn once more tries that little ball reversed for Johnston, but it's too much on it, and Johnston certainly won't catch it. It's behind for another goal kick. Just over a minute to play in the first period. Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, he just overplayed it. It was too much for Johnston, but Celtic have been brilliant this first half. They've had a number of opportunities there. Robbie McCrory had another save there. Good save from James Forrest. They've been so dominant in the first half.
There'll be actually a minute of added on time, but Robbie McCrory preparing to take the goal kick, beaten on a couple of occasions already. A couple of good saves as well to minimise the damage as Vassell goes down, but there's no free kick this time, as Scales and now Carter Vickers pick up midway inside their own half. Now Johnston involved with Canada at the Copa America as they finished 4th in the end, losing out in the 3rd place playoff. Now O'Reilly into the area, and Hatate just can't make the connection he was looking for. A very difficult one to take, that one, as it came over his head 6 yards out. He just stuck out the left boot, but he couldn't guide it goalwards, and it does remain Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0.
But you know, O'Reilly's looking at him. It was an absolutely magnificent pass for O'Reilly. He's taken it inside, he's flied it over the two centre halves. Kyogo should have done better. He should have kept, he took his eye off it completely. Hatate.
Yeah, 1 minute to be added on, and we're into that just now, and O'Reilly certainly hasn't let the standard slip from last season. Very much continuing in the same vein as Kilmarnock come forward, looking to get back within a goal of Celtic before the interval. It's Vassell doing well on the edge of the box, right hand side, plays it to Murray. Murray looking to try and get a cross in. It's a low one, it's not a good one, and Scales able to make the interception, helped on by Forrest. Still Kilmarnock trying to press and look for a goal before half time. Finlay though now picking up on the halfway line, plays it forward down the left, but it's a poor pass from Finlay. Looks hopefully at Matty Kennedy, but there's no way anything the winger could have done about that, and it will be a goal kick to Celtic, which is already taken. Carter Vickers playing it to Alistair Johnston, into the feet of Hatate, who opened the scoring. Back with McGregor, who's just kept things ticking over as he always does. And now it's Liam Scales, but there's the half-time whistle, and a really impressive first half showing from the champions on Flag Day here at Celtic Park. They have been on the front foot from the off, and although Kyogo was denied after 16 minutes by Robbie McCrory and then a goal line clearance from Lewis Mayo, it was only a minute later that Rio Hatate opened the scoring. 17 minutes in from the edge of the box, low shot past McCrory into the bottom corner, and that was Celtic in front. They had umpteen chances after that. Kyogo had a shot well saved by McCrory, although at the other end Donnelly and Kennedy both had shots that were comfortably saved by Schmeichel. It really was all Celtic. A brilliant double save from McCrory to deny Kuhn 11 minutes before the break, but he had no chance really to save after O'Reilly's corner picked out Scales 8 yards from goal, and he guided it in off the far post to make it 2-0. And Forrest was next to be denied by Robbie McCrory, but at half time it is Celtic leading by 2-0.
The Scottish Premiership
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, it has really been pretty impressive from the champions as they look to make it 11 out of 12 titles in the Premiership era. Getting their defence underway this afternoon. The first 45 minutes have seen them carve out that 2-0 advantage against Kilmarnock. Almost total domination by Brendan Rodgers' side. Earlier, it was 3-0 for St Mirren against Hibernian. They got the opener early in the second half through Roland Adobu, and then Oisin Smith with 2 goals in the space of 2 or 3 minutes late on to set the seal on a fantastic victory for St Mirren. What a week they've had. The 4-1 win against Valur on Thursday night, followed now by that very comprehensive beating of Hibernian in Paisley, but a terrible start for the Edinburgh side. We'll get reaction from Stephen Robinson and from David Gray a little bit later on. Before then, we brought you live commentary, the first of our live games for the afternoon, and it fairly crackled along as Dundee United and Dundee battled out a 2-2 draw. Christian Trapanovsky with a fine finish in the 13th minute. The lead lasted just 5, It was efforts by Simon Murray, which was saved, but the ball fell into the path of Seb Palmer-Houlden, who knocked home his 4th of the season. Within a few minutes, Miller Thompson, a very impressive young midfielder, put Dundee United back in front. It wasn't until 11 minutes from the end that Dundee earned the draw when Luke McCowan comfortably and confidently chipped home down the middle from the penalty spot. That after Ross Graham had taken down Simon Murray. There was a VAR check. Well, actually, there was a check in terms of the penalty itself, and it looked quite clear cut. In the main, they were checking to see if Murray had been offside as he raced through. He was deemed onside. The penalty eventually awarded, and it was McCowan who put it away. So a 2-2 draw there, a 3-0 win for St Mirren, and Celtic already heading for victory. You would feel 2-0 up at half-time. Hatate and Scales. It has been, well, it's just been a case of picking up where they left off, John Collins, hasn't it?
Yep, I think Brendan Rodgers will be absolutely delighted. They've looked sharp, the pass has been crisp, and I think probably the most pleasing thing for Brendan will be the pressing has been outstanding. Sometimes you become lazy with the pressing because you've got so much possession of the ball, but you can clearly see the message Brendan has been given to Hatate and all the forward with. As soon as we lose it, let's win it straight back and don't let them breathe. And that's been the key thing for me for Celtic. Kilmarnock having, I don't think, 4 consecutive passes in the whole 45 minutes. That's due to them, and also Celtic's really good pressing. All over the pitch, everybody's been good. Goalkeeper's been nice and solid. Defenders have been using the ball well. Wingers are looking sharp. Kuhn, I'd like to see more end product from Kuhn, but James Forrest's looking as sharp as I've ever seen him. Kyogo's red hot, and the 3 in the midfield are knocking it about, moving it well.
I've got to say, well, for a number of years now, the teams, the successful team, Jones, at any level, I'm talking about Europe, I'm talking about world football as well, but the big teams, the successful teams, the teams that win, not only do they play superb football, but they've all got this side to the game as well, of getting the ball back as quickly as possible. It was Guardiola he had a time limit, didn't he, on the players? They had to get the ball back within a certain period of time. And Celtic, when they're on form, when they're at 100%, that's what they do, isn't it? It was amazing how often they got the ball back so quickly off Kilmarnock.
And you know, the best time to win the ball back is when you've had it for 10, 15 passes. As soon as opposition get it, they're in defensive position, they're tired because they've been chasing it for 10 passes. That's the easiest time to get it back off them as well. So it sounds simple, but getting your players, every single player to buy into it for 90 minutes, that's the key. And Brendan has just had 45 minutes of total, he calls it, counter pressing, has been outstanding.
I mean, it's certainly what led to the first goal, Cammy, wasn't it? They won back possession on the edge of the box there, a little pass from Greg Taylor, and Hatate was unerring with that shot from the edge of the box.
Yeah, it was a brilliant finish, Richard. But as you alluded to there, that Kilmarnock, they gave the ball away. I felt as if they could have had that ball cleared up the pitch. I think it was Brad Lyons. Am I right in saying that, Richard, that gave the ball away in that one?
Yeah.
So I feel Derek McInnes will be disappointed with the goals we've lost. That goal's avoidable, albeit it was a brilliant finish, and then you lose a goal from a set piece as well, a header, which was a fantastic header, but Scales just gets that 2 yards ahead of Lewis Mayo and gets a jump. 2 avoidable goals from Kilmarnock's point of view, but they need to keep the ball better as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I totally get that, I understand that, but it's not quite as simple, is it, when you're being completely swarmed over by players who are better than you are?
Yeah, but they need to find a way, because if they keep giving Celtic the ball back, then they're going to be under so much pressure and then end up conceding a number of goals in this second half. They've done it well where they've got the ball up to Kyle Vassili's held the ball well a number of times, and they've had 1 or 2 opportunities, but yeah, as you say, Richard, this is a very good Celtic team, and a Celtic team that look really hungry, to be honest.
Richard, I think when McCrory's got the ball at the back of by kick, every single time he's pushed the back foot up and they've launched it, and I'm going to say 9 out of 10 times they've lost possession. Yeah. Sometimes you've got to mix it up. I think, okay, going long every now and again, but sometimes you've got to, your fullbacks have got to drop deep and wide and try and get on the ball. Even when they do get it, then it's a different angle ball of the striker, but Celtic defence know every time Corey gets it, it's launched, so they're set up in their defensive positions all round about the striker, and he's got no chance near enough of taking it in and laying it off. So I think Derek might change it.
Is it not better to lose possession 10 yards inside the Celtic half than 20 yards from your own goal, though?
Well, it is, but however, I think you've got to trust your players. 4 defenders against three strikers plus a goalkeeper, so you've got 5 against their 3. So if I was coaching 5 against 3, I'd be quite happy to get my 5 would get out against 3. But Celtic are sharp, and I understand they're fearful of losing the ball, but there comes a time in a game where you've got to think, we've got to try and keep the ball. You can't constantly give it straight back to Celtic, because this Celtic team's got a lot of good players, and you keep giving it away without having a break, without any possession, you'll get tired, and as the game goes on, you're going to see the second half Celtic they're going to cut through them. There's going to be goals.
Liam Scales with a second. It was again, he got away from Mayo. It was a really well taken header. I mean, just O'Reilly's deliveries are superb, but Scales had the movement, and it was a really clever header as he angled it back across the defenders, past the goalie and in off the far post. Scales is pretty remarkable, Cammy, isn't he? You think back to summer of 2023, just came off the loan spell at Aberdeen, who I think were keen to keep him. I think probably most people felt that Liam Scales' Celtic career was over. He got his chance through injuries at the start of last season. In the end, Celtic played 50 games in 23-24, and Liam Scales played 45 of them. And there he is again. I mean, you just look at Carter Vickers and Scales as the obvious, clear first choice central defensive partnership now, don't you?
Yeah, you do, but I think he deserves that initial, you know, that him and Carter Vickers are your 2 first choice centre backs, because he's worked ever so hard, as you say. He had that opportunity, he got that chance, and he took it. He took his chance, and he's been brilliant for Celtic. I see he's a really important player for them. He carries the ball well, he plays some good football, he's physical and mixing it up when he has to against Vassell today. So for me, he's a really important player for Celtic, and he's growing. I think he's getting better and better with the games he's playing.
Yeah, Richard, I think he's very much underrated. Left-sided central defenders are so hard to find. Every club in Europe's looking for a left-sided defender who can step forward and play passes. And I think he can step forward and play passes. He plays good passes out to the left winger, and he can also thread it into centre forward on number 10s. And he's coming up with goals. So I think he's done ever so well. And maybe sometimes, because he's not came from a glamour country with a big figure on his head, people underestimate or maybe pick on him. He's the easy choice. He's cost him nothing, but for me, he's been outstanding the last 12 months for Celtic.
He's got the second goal this afternoon. From what you said there, John, the second half, you feel it's going to be even tougher potentially for Kilmarnock. Is this about Celtic trying to overtake what St Mirren did earlier and go top of the table on day one?
For me, without a doubt, Brendan will be in there saying, I'm wanting more goals, I'm wanting the same intensity, I'm wanting the same pressing. And I fear for Kilmarnock, because they're going to get very tired, certainly towards the last 20 minutes, last quarter of the game. And Celtic will be bringing fresh forward players on as well, which will make it even harder for the back 4 or back 10 of Kilmarnock.
I mean, it is essentially going to be a back 10, isn't it, Scammy? Because unless Celtic do take the foot off the pedal, and you can't imagine somehow that happening.
No, I think
it's going to be.
I think they're going to put a marker down today. That's what Brendan Rodgers will be saying. Let's put a marker out there that this is what we want to do. They want to keep that intensity up like they played with in the first half. And for Kilmarnock, it's going to be difficult. They're going to be deep. They were deep in that first half for long spells. It's about keeping concentration. You don't want to concede that first goal early, because it'll just make Celtic even more hungrier to go and get goals. And you can end up embarrassed here at Celtic Park quite easily. So it's just about keeping concentration, not gifting any goals away.
And Richard, what you've got here at Celtic Park, 60,000 fans that don't let them take the foot off the gas. If they start passing it backwards inside, trust me, you'll hear the groans from the fans.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they've been spoiled to a certain extent, having incredible success over the past, well, I mean, throughout the club's history, but absolutely dominant in the past decade or so. You do get a little bit antsy if the goals aren't flowing in. There's every chance that will happen. The only reason it's 2 at this stage, well, there was one very good clearance, it's got to be said, by Kilmarnock after the pressure was put on. Mayo back to clear off just about off the line, but McCrory has done well. And what is his league debut for Kilmarnock, Cammy?
Yeah, he has. He's been really impressive. As I say, the games I've seen him this season for Kilmarnock, he's done really well, big saves. He's going to have to make a number of saves in this second half, but yeah, the scoreline's only 2-0 because of Robbie McCrory at this point.
Goalkeepers union there, the goalkeepers union.
I mean, it was a very good double save, wasn't it, from Nicholas Kuhn. He also got a touch on that shot from Kyogo, the little chip.
Yeah,
from
he did.
Kyogo just before Mayo cleared it off the line.
He did, Richard. That was a really important, because again, if he doesn't get anything on that's in the back of the net. It allows the defender to clear it. But as you say, his double save was very impressive. He had another save from James Forrest low at his left. And he had to get that one away because Kyogo was right on top of him if he spilt it. So yeah, he's had a really good game so far, and Kilmarnock players will be hoping he's going to have a good second half to keep the scoreline down.
Actually, just on Forrest, he had a wonderful last few months of last season. I must admit, I was really disappointed he saw no action at the Euros, but we've seen again this afternoon that he still retains such danger as an attacking threat.
Well, I think it's as sharp as I've seen him. I think straight from kick-off, his first intention was get the ball wide and get running at the fullback. And any fullback, the last thing they want early in a game is a tricky, quick winger running at them. And obviously Brendan's told him, look, go and express yourself, take him on. And he's at his best when he's doing that. And he's getting shots in, he's getting balls in the box. And also, his better reactions without the ball. That was probably one of the reasons why he never played under Ange, was because he wasn't working hard enough or good enough without the ball. So that's the challenge for James, is can he be better without the ball? And in that half there was a couple of times he was pressing the fullbacks and running back. One time he ran back 40 yards and got back, and he had the appreciation from the fans. So one thing that James, if he adds that to his game, he won't be out of the team.
No. I just watched another replay of that Scales goal. It's absolutely remarkable, actually. The height that he gets, clearly Mayo kind of stumbles as he gets away from him, but he soars through the air. And to be able to judge the flight of the ball and direct it in the way he did does take a real skill. I know you goalies always thought yourselves outfielders, Cammy, but would you have perfected a glancing header quite like that from 12 yards?
Definitely not, Richard. No, it was a brilliant header, as you say. The height that he gets, but he just guides it into the corner, and I think it goes in off the post eventually. Yeah. But it was a phenomenal header, and you can be critical of Lewis Mayo, but it's that run, it's that sharpness that you just get that yard away. It's always difficult to recover, and yeah, it was a brilliant goal for them.
I mean, Richard, the new rules in football, defenders can't block, they can't pull jerseys like the old. So it's very difficult for defenders now. As soon as the opponent gets a yard in front of him, it's over. It's over. You don't get back, you don't pull them, you don't nudge them because of VAR. So there should be more and more goals scored from corner kicks and set pieces, in my opinion.
So what you're saying is that, John, defenders actually have to relearn how to defend rather than pull and tug and
yes,
block.
Exactly. All those defenders that I played against, they'll be listening to now, pulling jerseys, blocking. Those days are over. It's the time of the strikers and the attacking players.
Well, that's, that fair worked yesterday in the two games that we had, eh? The 2-0 draws.
Oh, God.
But there have been plenty of goals this afternoon. 4 at Tannadice, 3 in Paisley, 2 already at Celtic Park, both for the home side. Hatate and Scales, they will look to press on in the second half, as Kilmarnock will look to just, initially hold on in the game, I suppose, and then try somehow to find a way back into it. Full live second half commentary to come here on Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland with Cammy Bell, John Collins and Al Lamont.
Thanks, Rich. Celtic just about to get us back underway. They go from right to left in this second period, leading by 2-0. And it was pointed out to me by our engineer Dave at half-time that Peter Schmeichel is among the spectators here, watching his wee boy Casper in between the sticks. I don't think Casper Schmeichel or Peter Schmeichel have ever been a wee boy, have they? Really? Here's Scales, a brilliant ball through for Hatate. Hatate into the penalty area, left-hand side, and Donnelly was tracking him and knocks it behind for a corner. But what a ball from Scales, talking about his header in the first half, but that was a brilliant ball, John Collins.
That's what I talked about at half-time. He's got that in his locker. He always looks to play a penetrating forward pass. If it's not on, it goes to a full-back or a winger. That was a terrific pass through.
Certainly was. Corner only in the end, left-hand side. as Matt O'Reilly. It's over Scales this time as Donnelly meets it and knocks it out for a throw in this time on the left-hand side. No changes, incidentally, to either side at the interval. So as you were, I'll maybe run you through the 11s of the respective sides. I get a moment or two, but Celtic coming forward through Kuhn, right-hand side up against Bainbridge. Goes on the outside, plays it off Matty Kennedy and behind for another Celtic corner, this time out on the right-hand side. Celtic very much picking up where they left off in the first half, Cammy.
Yeah, they've been really impressive to start this second half, and Kilmarnock just need to keep concentration here and make sure they don't give anything away.
O'Reilly again, right-hand side, in-swinger, near-post ball is knocked away by Bainbridge. No Kilmarnock players up the field though, and so it'll be an easy job of collecting it and get it back under control for Johnson, who then plays it out to the left-hand side to Hatate. Hatate midway inside the Kilmarnock camp, out to the left-hand side to Forrest. Forrest up against Lyons, takes him on the outside, left foot ball in, well taken by Robbie McCrory, but both wingers there getting involved. Kuhn a moment ago, and now Forrest going on the outside. As you say, John, it does always or often seem to cause more problems for fullbacks when the wingers do that.
Well, there's nothing worse. A quick winger with tricky feet, good ball control, running right at you.
McCrory clears it up towards Murray, then it's into Vassell. He's been fouled by McGregor, and it's going to be a Kilmarnock free kick, more or less midway inside the Celtic half. Just try and quickly run you through the sides then. It's Schmeichel in goal for Celtic, Johnson, Carter Vickers, Scales and Taylor, O'Reilly, McGregor, Hatate, Kuhn, Kyogo and Forrest for Celtic. McCrory in goal for Celtic, Lyons, Mayo, Finlay and Bainbridge at the back. Donnelly, Watson, Polworth, Kennedy, Vassell, Murray, and it's going to be Kennedy to take this free kick. Right hand, well, right of centre certainly, about 45 yards from goal. Kilmarnock looking for a way back into the game. It's not a bad ball, and it's headed back across by Finlay, but he couldn't wrap the neck around it almost to get it back across goal, and it just goes tamely behind for a goal kick. But not a bad ball certainly from Kennedy.
Yeah, it was a good ball in from Kennedy. Celtic had a really high line there, and it just allowed them to play it into that corridor, and it's just bounced off the turf and went too high for Finlay to get anything on it, but a decent ball into the box.
Scales has done well to get that forward to Forrest under pressure from Donnelly. It's back with McGregor, quickly closed down by Vassell, but the ball's already in the possession of Carter Vickers, and now back with Scales 10 yards inside his own half, up to the halfway line he comes, and on the stretch gets it back from Taylor, forward for Forrest. Forrest back into Carter Vickers at the halfway line, leaves it to Callum McGregor, who slides it forward looking for Hatate, but on the slide also was Donnelly, who intercepts and plays it to Watson, who got that late equaliser here back in February. I was slightly surprised to see him not only left out the starting lineup on Thursday, Cammy, but not playing at all, having obviously got the equaliser against Cercle Bruges in the first half. Of you?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, to be honest, Al. I think he brings a lot of energy, he can get up and down the pitch. So listen, it was a decision obviously Derek seen he had to make, and yeah, but as you say, I was surprised he didn't enter the pitch at any point.
Yeah, I mean, he might have been carrying something, we don't know. It wasn't certainly made public, but he was on the bench, and yeah, certainly any time he does play for Kilmarnock, he always looks more than promising. Here's a promising Celtic attack on the right hand side, led by Hatate up towards the goal line, gets it across goal. Lyons is there at the edge of the 6-yard box to get it clear. Kennedy helps it on, Taylor nods it though to Scales, and now it's McGregor out to the right hand side for Johnston. Certainly a Celtic third goal would take this beyond Kilmarnock, if it's not already. Here's O'Reilly getting the byline, tries the right footed cross. It's initially come off Bainbridge, and it's kept in well by Kennedy, who feeds it forward looking for Vassell, but it's over him, and Carter Vickers nods it to McGregor, who plays it back to Scales. Carter Vickers once more, and then back to Schmeichel, who's had a quiet debut. I suppose want that to continue, but it'd be good to see him in action, what he can do. I don't think there's any doubt about what he can do. Played all 4 games for Denmark at the Euros. As the Celtic fans howl for a corner, but it did seem to come back off Kuhn as the sliding challenge came in there from Finlay, and it will be a goal kick to Kilmarnock. And the former Rangers goalkeeper Romeo Crowley, one of his 7 appearances for Rangers did come against Celtic, and he acquitted himself pretty well in an Old Firm game, but his chances of course were few and far between. But Derek McInnes clearly sees in him a goalkeeper capable of being his first choice, and certainly some of the saves he's made first half would back that up as he plays the goal kick over the halfway line. 2-0 Celtic lead with 51 minutes on the clock. Earlier in the day it was 2-2 Dundee United against Dundee and 3-0 St Mirren against Hibs. The only victory so far in the Premiership, although Celtic are halfway and more towards emulating that. Here's Kennedy though coming forward for Kilmarnock, left hand side. He's just barged to the ground by Alistair Johnston, and if Don Robertson doesn't yellow card Johnston here, then he's a lucky man. It is a free kick midway inside the Celtic half, but I mean that was pretty cynical from Johnston, albeit he used his shoulder in the back rather than, you know, clipping him to the ground, but it was doing the same thing, Cammy.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree. I think I'm surprised there wasn't a yellow card. I think Johnston was aware of the counter-attack that Killie opportunity they had there, and he's just taken Kennedy out, so a little bit surprised there was no booking.
But it is a free kick, left hand side, swung into the penalty area and away by Johnston. It's picked up by Kuhn right hand side, trying to take on Murray. Murray slides in, gets a little touch on it, but Kuhn still continues in possession up towards the edge of the box, nudges it to McGregor. McGregor tries to play it across the 6-yard box, and it's cut out there by the Kilmarnock defence, out for a throw-in on the far side, but a lightning counter-attack there led by Kuhn, almost resulting in a third goal.
Yeah, really tremendous play from Kuhn, opening his legs. He's got good pace, and that's what I like to see. Nice positive running. He played a nice little pass for Carl McGregor, but good defending from Kilmarnock.
Scales out to Hattati, left hand side, about 25 yards from goal, comes into the angle of the box, slides that forward for Forrest, who just keeps it in and gets it back to Hattati on the angle of the box again, left hand side. McGregor somehow gets through the challenge of Donnelly and gets it back to Forrest on the left. He plays another wonderful ball to Hattati, edge of the box, just wide from Hattati. It must have taken a deflection because Celtic are awarded the corner. Hattati didn't catch that as well as he caught the one that went in, but nonetheless it was very, very close to finding the bottom corner. Corner already taken. McGregor to Hattati, again about 30 yards from goal, tries to spin away from Vassell, plays it back to Carter Vickers. Now it's Johnston out to the right hand side. Nicholas Kuhn picks up against Bainbridge. Johnston again, fires it across goal, it's too high for O'Reilly, and out on this near side for a throw-in, but Rio Hattati just a moment ago so close to a third Celtic goal.
Yeah, he never hesitates, does he? When he gets an opportunity to pull the trigger, he's always there, in and around the box. Caught it, but not as sweet as he did in the first one.
Who knows, we've not seen a replay, but barring the deflection it might well have been heading in, but there's only the slightest of deflections as far as I can tell. But it's Kilmarnock surviving that one. 2-0 they trail with 54 played here at Celtic Park. Hattati and Scales, the first half goal scorers for a dominant Celtic, as Carter Vickers plays it to his right hand side to Johnston, midway inside his own half. Back now with Carter Vickers. Steps up towards the edge of the centre circle and then plays a straight ball for Hattati, who does really well actually to get that out to O'Reilly. No right to turn that into a pass because it was not a great ball from Carter Vickers, you'd have to say. He's back now with the big defender though, just inside Kilmarnock territory. Plays it forward for Kyogo, who's been quietish in the opening 10 minutes of this second period, but Kilmarnock won't be resting on their laurels as far as that's concerned. Here's Forrest, left hand side again. It's played back to Carter Vickers on the edge of the centre circle inside the Kilmarnock half. Now it's Scales allowed to step forward up to about 30 yards from goal, plays it short to Hattati and back to McGregor. Carter Vickers again. Johnston makes the move and opens up the space for Kuhn, right hand side, up against Bainbridge. Comes in on the left hand side this time, Kuhn. Squeezes it through for Hattati, who tries to do likewise for O'Reilly. Kilmarnock put a foot or two in the way but can't get it completely clear. Johnston tries to get it across goal and it's knocked behind by Donnelly for a Celtic corner right hand side. 55 on the clock. Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, they're turning the screw now, Celtic. It's just a matter of time before we'll probably see a third. Kilmarnock can't get out.
It does look that way. O'Reilly lining up the corner, right hand side, in swinger with the left foot over Vassell. Finlay didn't read it, shot comes in, it's cleared off the line. Hattati tries his luck, hits Vassell, comes to Forrest, poor control from him, and hacked away by Watson over the halfway line as Kilmarnock just about hold on. Then Vassell fouls Johnston for a Celtic free kick, but is it Mayo off the line there? Didn't quite see it.
I think it was Mayo, and again it was Scales. It was a good strike from Scales, and Mayo's just retreated onto the line and cleared it, but it's just relentless from Celtic at the moment. As John says, it looks like there's going to be a third soon because Kilmarnock can't keep the ball and they can't get out of the box.
Is there anything Derek McInnes can do to somehow turn the tide, or is it just a case of trying to survive?
Yeah, it's difficult, as we spoke about at half-time with Richard. It's hard to, it's easier said than done keeping the ball against such a relentless Celtic team and a team that looks so hungry. So I just feel as if they need to, when they get the opportunity, slow the game down, take care of the ball when they've got it, but they need to do something different.
Celtic have it, leading by 2-0. They haven't, as we discussed pre-match, they haven't been overly involved in the transfer market, but certainly you can see that this team has benefited, John, from the cohesion is there from last season. They look, if anything, even better in terms of as a team unit.
Yeah, without a doubt, they know one another inside out. They know what the manager wants now. They've been working it again, close season. It's always good to have new, fresh faces, but you don't want 6 and 7 new players coming in every transfer window. That just creates uncertainty. What you're seeing here is a Celtic team that everybody knows their jobs. Everybody knows what's expected of them in possession and out of possession. You can now 2-0 up at Celtic Park. Pitches like a bowling green. Magnificent atmosphere. Everybody's wanting the ball. The options for the man in possession. We've got 5 options near enough every player. And Kilmarnock are just chasing shadows at the moment.
Yeah, they are. 58 minutes in. Still just 2-0 as it stood at half-time, but Celtic been threatening, looking for a third as Kilmarnock, though, come forward down the left-hand side. It's Vassell finding Kennedy over in that left flank. Across goes Carter Vickers to try and close him down. He gets it ball back the way to Polworth. Polworth tries to lift it back into Kennedy. It's a difficult pass to try and execute. There wasn't a lot of grass to play it into, just too much on it, behind for a goal kick, and it will remain Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, it was a difficult pass, as you say, Al. For me, it was the wrong option. It was a time Kilmarnock could have kept the ball for 3 or 4 passes up in Celtic's half, but a poor pass from Polworth.
Kyogo with a wonderful pass out to the right hand side for Kuhn, who's now 1-on-1 against Bainbridge, coming in on the left foot. Can he find room for the shot? It's Kuhn, deflection and in! Celtic have a third. It's been on the cards from the second half whistle, and Nicholas Kuhn with the aid of a deflection as it looping over Robbie McCrory. He danced in off the right hand touchline, past a couple of players, and his shot deflected by a Kilmarnock player over McCrory. It's Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0.
From Celtic's point of view, it's a great footballing goal. I think it's Johnson, the right back here, has fired the ball into Kyogo's feet. He's played a magnificent first time pass out wide to Kuhn, and Kuhn, first thing in his mind, as soon as he gets it, I'm going to attack. He's driving in the pitch, and you know what he's going to do. He's going to shoot, and he gets a lucky deflection. Shame for the goalkeeper, but only what Celtic deserve, another goal.
Yeah, it was brilliant from Kuhn for me. He's been lively all afternoon. It looks like a real new player, loads of confidence, wants to get his shot away. He gets his shot away, and it's a huge deflection that sends Robbie McCrory the wrong way.
Brendan Rodgers is using that as the cue for some substitutions. Derek McInnes is going to do likewise. It won't happen just yet, but Celtic leading by 3-0. John, you mentioned it, the pass from Kyogo, it's outstanding, but it's all about knowing that your winger is already on the move as well, isn't it?
He's holding a wide area. It's just a perfect execution, the pass from Kyogo.
Another little round the corner ball from Kyogo. Catch that on the highlights tonight on Sports Scene 7:15 on BBC One. As Celtic fans will want more. They are currently, as things stand, level with St Mirren at the top of the table. But plenty of time, half an hour remaining for Celtic to add to their tally, and you feel that is the more likely scenario than Kilmarnock getting anything back into it, as Anthony Ralston and Luis Palma at least are about to come into the fray. The ball's back with Schmeichel. But it's a real statement of intent, this, from Celtic, with an hour and a bit played at the start of the season. You said it, Cammy, they're going to try and lay down a marker, and that is very much what they've been doing, although Hatate there with a slack pass. Polworth thought he'd won possession back, but he's out-muscled by Callum McGregor. He thought he was fouled, wasn't to be, but here comes Celtic once more, looking rampant at the moment. It's O'Reilly for Kuhn, right-hand side, tries to get it back into the box. It's blocked, but Kuhn will pick up once more. Celtic very much looking for more, not going to take their foot off the gas, as Kuhn has another sight of goal. That's deflected, but this time into the arms of Robbie McCrory, and after 62 minutes almost, it's still Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Well, they're rampant at the moment, aren't they, Alan? Everybody's wanting the ball, everybody's looking sharp, everybody fancies a goal. That's what you're seeing, all the forward players are wanting, they're all wanting the ball. Bad news for Kilmarnock, the substitutes are coming on fresh legs.
Yeah, fresh legs coming on against Kilmarnock, and this is going to be a long afternoon for them. You feel for the guys that are out there at the moment.
Substitutions are going to happen just now, and Luis Palma is going to be the first man to come on. And it's Nicolas Kuhn who scored that third goal, who will be replaced by Palma. Johnston in a straight swap here with Anthony Ralston coming on. Played all three at the Euros for Scotland, obviously involved in that unfortunate pass that paved the way for Xherdan Shaqiri to score the equaliser for Switzerland, but otherwise acquitted himself pretty well. So double change for Celtic, as Kilmarnock just bide their time in making their changes. There will be a throw into Celtic here, down in the left back position. Taylor into Palma, first touch for him, back with Scales, almost in his own goal line, plays it forward. Mayo though is in there, nods it down only to O'Reilly, who plays it first time to Forrest. It looks like he's switched out to the right hand side with Palma on the left. Now it's Ralston getting involved. Into the box it comes, away by Finlay, former Celtic youth player. Here's Taylor trying to force it forward, comes off Murray, and out for a Celtic throw-in. And this Cameron is one of what looks like three Kilmarnock changes. Danny Armstrong is another.
Just looking at Brendan Rodgers there, the ball goes out for a throw, and he's telling the ball boy, get the ball in quicker. That tells you everything what Brendan wants. He wants more goals.
Here's Palma, left hand side, tries to slip it through for Hatate. Lions able to get it half clear. Donnelly helps it on up towards Vassell, held up by Scales, turns it back to Polworth. Polworth midway inside his own half, looking for options. Donnelly's one of them, composed enough to play out to this right hand side to Lyons, who in turn finds Watson. Watson just inside the Celtic half, brings it down the right hand side, in slides Palma, says he didn't touch it, but the assistant thinks otherwise, and there will be a Kilmarnock throw-in once they are made their changes. Rory McKenzie is the other player to come on, so it's Armstrong, Cameron and McKenzie who are coming on. Liam Polworth is one of the players who are about to come off, and Matty Kennedy is another. On comes McKenzie for Polworth then, and I think Vassell thinks he's coming off because he's taken the armband off, although his number's not been shown as yet, and he's actually not. It's going to be Brad Lyons, I think, who's coming off. Kyle Vassell's looking at the bench just to say, well, what's going on here? I think it's a bit of confusion, because Vassell is making his way off. Lyons is staying on, so it's a number mix-up. Yeah, now it's a number 9 that's shown. So it is a straight swap up front with Innes Cameron replacing Kyle Vassell. It's a thankless task for these guys coming on at 3-0 down, but they've got to just go and try and show some energy and try and not let the scoreline get any worse, Cammy, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Derek McInnes will have one eye on Thursday night, the European tie that they've got ahead of themselves. But you don't want to get embarrassed here at Celtic Park. You don't want to go into that game having lost 5-6 goals. So they've just got to keep their concentration, keep working hard and make it difficult for Celtic.
They have won themselves a corner on this right-hand side, and Danny Armstrong is about to take it, one of the substitutes. So left-footed in-swinger here from Armstrong, incoming, and it comes, it scales, it wins it, comes to McKenzie, wide a goal. Didn't catch it as he would have liked. Rory McKenzie from the edge of the box, well wide in the end, and it remains after, what, 66 minutes here. Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0.
It was a good ball in the box from Danny Armstrong, well defending. Rory McKenzie finds he's still in a lot of space, and as you say, it just doesn't catch the volley right and goes wide.
And again, Kasper Schmeichel untroubled in the Celtic goal in his debut. As Armstrong picks up, he was just carrying a slight knock after exertions on Thursday, which is why he didn't start the game. Normally you would expect Danny Armstrong to be in the starting lineup. He's won his side a throw-in. Callum McGregor felt, I think he should have had a free kick for Armstrong's intentions, but the officials thought otherwise. So throw-in Kilmarnock, Lions to take in that right back role. Down the right flank it comes. Watson comes across to flick it over his and Scales' head, but McGregor's there to play it up to Kyogo. Kyogo's giving it away to Armstrong. Gets it back to McKenzie, who now has the armband with Vassell off. Donnelly picks up for Kilmarnock in a decent area. Out to the right-hand side for Armstrong. Feints away from Palmer. Curls a lovely ball in, and it's headed wide by Fraser Murray. The offside flag goes up now against Murray. I didn't necessarily think he was, but would have been checked had it gone in the back of the net. But wonderful ball in from Armstrong. Fraser Murray, you've got to say, he's got to do better. Yeah, again, it was brilliant play from Danny. He just cuts inside on that left foot, whips a brilliant ball in, and Fraser Murray obviously was just offside. They had to do better anyways.
It's such a dangerous ball and such a difficult ball to defend. Need more of that from him.
Yeah, he certainly got that in his locker, and he was saying on Thursday that he's in the last year of his contract now, and I think Derek McInnes has maybe not given up, but he's not hopeful that he's going to extend his contract. And well, he doesn't want to lose him for nothing at the end of the season, but nor does he especially want to leave in this window, even if he were to get some money for him. But it's a tough decision when you're a manager. The player, I guess, calling the shots in those situations, but Kilmarnock definitely don't want to lose Danny Armstrong, that's for sure. Yeah, listen, he's such an important player. Him and Matty Kennedy have been really important, especially with Kyle Vassell and Marley Watkins up top. They give them so much service, so he's a big player for Killie. There's Forrest for O'Reilly, and then Taylor back to McGregor now midway inside the Kilmarnock half, just beyond the midway point in this second period. Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0. Completely in charge as McGregor next possession and bursts into the box. Can he get the shot away? He's well blocked. Comes back to Hatate, just over the top from Hatate. McCrory might well have had that one covered, but fierce effort from Hatate after McGregor's effort was blocked, but just too high from the Japanese, and it does remain Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Quality play from Cal McGregor. Sometimes he doesn't do that enough. Drive forward the ball, he's always looking to play nice passes, but when he drives in and around that box, he's a dangerous player.
McCrory with the goal kick up towards Cameron. Hits it back the way. Bainbridge helps it on. Armstrong likewise. Cameron will give chase, but Scales there well ahead of him. Just turns that back to Schmeichel in his luminous yellow outfit. Plays that to Carter Vickers, and then out to the right hand side for Ralston. Ralston back to Schmeichel. It's going to take a while to get used to saying Schmeichel instead of Hart, I have to say, when you look at that jersey. But he served Celtic brilliantly in the 3 years he was at the club. Joe Hart, as an off-the-ball incident has led to Liam Donnelly going in the book. He just blocked Hatate off, and the referee, Don Robertson, was wise to it and shows the yellow card to the Kilmarnock midfielder. Yeah, he was right next to Don Robertson as well, the incident that happened. He just, as you say, blocked him off, stopped his run, and it's a clear yellow card. Free kick to Celtic then, 10 yards inside Kilmarnock territory. Brendan Rodgers still at the edge of his technical area, looking to get instructions on, doesn't want Celtic to ease off at all, looking for more goals that would take them top of the table. As the ball goes back to Schmeichel in the Celtic goal. Plays it out. It's a great ball for O'Reilly. You guys were talking about how good he is with his feet. As for the ball from O'Reilly, it was almost perfect, just skips off the surface and gets out of play before Palmer could reach it. But I mean, a great ball from Schmeichel, almost a staggering ball from O'Reilly.
Yeah, Kasper Schmeichel's ball was phenomenal, right in the middle of the pitch, just whipped it into O'Reilly's feet, and I should say O'Reilly's ball was outrageous and just went out of the pitch.
Technique's just something to marvel at. As Palmer picks up left-hand side into Kyogo's feet, knocks it back for Hatate, who tries to lift it over Finlay for Kyogo, and Finlay just rises high enough to get it away, and now Donnelly picks up inside his own penalty area and pauses before thumping it long. One for Cameron to chase, but Carter Vickers is there. Ralston, slightly untidy pass, and now Cameron does pick up and knocks it out to the right-hand side for Armstrong to run at Taylor. He's got Lyons outside of him, he's come in field, it's easily blocked by McGregor, his attempted shot. Donnelly picks up, and then he catches Taylor, and Don Robertson, having just booked Liam Donnelly a moment ago, quickly makes it clear that he's not going to look to get his book out again, but you would have to imagine that being on a yellow card, he's not going to get away with too many more of them.
Again, great to see Greg Taylor jumping up, not rolling about, trying to get the opponent sent off or booked. Too often that's what we see in modern day football, so all credit to Greg Taylor there.
I mean, it was a challenge that Donnelly had to go into. It was a 50-50 ball that Taylor got there split second before him, but so also good refereeing, you would have to say, showing common sense in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was an untidy one. It was a little bit late, but the referee's using common sense, as you say, and just waving it away. I don't think he'll get him any more chances, though.
Yeah, definitely not. 17 to play at Celtic Park. Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0. The champions purring along nicely for our first game of the season, and will fancy their chances of getting a goal or two more before the game is done. We've got a whole week off before they are next in action, and it's a visit to Easter Road a week today for them, and David Gray's side having to recover from a 3-0 thumping as Celtic come forward again. Hatate for Kyogo, he can't finish. It would have been a wonderful team goal. Some of the build-up play was terrific as Hatate then from the left-hand side almost put it on a plate for Kyogo. He was slightly on the stretch at the back post, but he will still feel he should have hit the target, but it does remain Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, that's the move of the match. Superb little interlink play here wide on the left. Greg Taylor, Carl McGregor and Hatate. Superb ball in the box and just a whisker away from Kyogo, finishing off, making it a contender for goal. Move of the season, that's for sure.
Now you've gone early with that one. Bobby Wales coming on incidentally to replace Liam Donnelly. Probably pretty sensible management there from Derek McInnes, with him probably being on his last warning in terms of challenges already in the book. Liam Donnelly, and he's a combative type. So on comes young Bobby Wales, just 19. Spent last season on loan at Alloa. Pretty productive as well in League One, 12 goals in his 27 appearances. And here he is playing in just behind Cameron by the looks of it. As Cameron gives chase, but Carter Vickers just sees that out of play. Good strength, good composure from the big defender. And Schmeichel immediately just plays the goal kick shot to Carter Vickers at the edge of the box. 15 left in the game, and it's Celtic cruising to victory. Scales plays it square to Carter Vickers, back to Schmeichel. I'm sure we'll see, in fact we are going to see another Celtic change before long, as there's a foul in the middle of the park by Watson, and it prevents Hatate taking the free kick quickly. Midway inside the Celtic half, Ralston then just rolls it back to Carter Vickers. Just trying to see who the Celtic sub is that's getting ready. Is it Yang? Yeah. Palmer now left hand side into the penalty area comes, flicked away by Finlay, does well, and quite fortunate it doesn't fall to a Celtic player, I suppose, but did what he had to do as the ball's cleared up. But Scales there before Cameron, and then Taylor for Carter Vickers. You'd imagine James Forrest will be the player to make way after a pretty productive afternoon's work for him. more than 75 minutes in the legs for Forrest, who's now into his 16th season at Celtic. He scored in all previous 15, and you certainly wouldn't back against him adding to that this campaign. Schmeichel plays it up to the halfway line. Kyogo to his left-hand side. Palmer can't quite keep it in, which gives Celtic the opportunity to make the substitution, and indeed it is James Forrest who will make way as Celtic Park rises as one to acclaim one of their own. And barring Bobby Lennox now, he's the most decorated player in the club's history. 24 major trophies, having overtaken Billy McNeil with the Scottish Cup lift in the summer. And he takes a round of applause and ovation from the fans as he is replaced by Yang. And James Forrest, John, you'd have to say in recent seasons it looked like he was very much in the periphery, but just towards the end of last season he just came back and reminded everyone what player he is.
He's back with a freshness. He's looking so sharp, so confident. He's had a terrific game today. He's caused constant threat. Every time he's been on the ball, he's been a threat. Again, he's not been passed it backwards and sideways. He's been getting the ball and attacking fullbacks. That's when he's at his best.
He looks super fit as well. He looks really sharp, but he looks really fit. He's obviously had a really good pre-season, and as you say, he's back with a bang.
Cameron can't quite get the ball out of his feet. Does break to the right hand side for Armstrong, looking to try and get the cross in. Uses Lyons as a decoy and plays it all the way across the park to Bainbridge. Bainbridge quickly closed down by Yang just on the field. Forward it goes for Cameron. Can he keep this in? Can. Scoops it back out to Murray on that left hand side and helped into the box by Bainbridge, but Schmeichel gives Scales the shout and gathers that comfortably. And 77 played. It's Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, an easy take for Kasper Schmeichel. I wanted to say as well, Kilmarnock have been pressing quite high, and it just shows you the ability Kasper Schmeichel's got with the ball at his feet. He's waiting. Kilmarnock a real high press, man v man, and he just chips it into the midfield. He's fantastic with his feet.
Yeah, veteran.
It's such a bonus. It's such a bonus for a football team when you've got a goalkeeper. It's like another outfield player. You've got another central defender as good as them with the ball at his feet.
Yeah, it could prove quite the signing. Kasper Schmeichel. As Hatate picks up in the midfield, quickly closed down by Wales, but out of play. And Greg Taylor quickly takes that back to Scales, midway inside his own half, plays it square to Carter Vickers on the edge of his own box now. Ralston out to the right hand side it goes. Forward for Yang, who's just replaced Forrest in that right flank role. Now back with Scales, just has to go back the way and leaves it to Schmeichel. Into Taylor, who just gets away with that actually against Danny Armstrong. Slightly heavy first touch, having been on his heels. Forward now it goes to Palmer, wraps the boot around it. It's a deep ball. O'Reilly will retrieve it. Ralston slides or slips as he tries to pick up. Then Hatate though gets a loose ball. Kyogo out to the left hand side for Palmer, edge of the box on the angle. Can he get the shot off? He can, but he's dragged the shot well wide. Behind for a goal kick to Kilmarnock. 79 played at Celtic Park. It's Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0. Derek McInnes looking to get instructions on to, I think, Robin McCrory there, as to, I think he's asking Brad Lyons to maybe go and take that shot. Lyons is having none of it, if that is what he's been asked to do. He just wants to get up the park as Cameron flicks it on from the clearance. Finds its way to Armstrong, right hand side. Just over 10 minutes left here at Celtic Park on Flag Day. Armstrong pretty much runs it out of play under pressure from Greg Taylor. Helped back to his feet by the former Kilmarnock man. And the goal kick is already taken. Yang plays it back to Scales under pressure. Scales on the edge of his own penalty area. Plays a shot to Callum McGregor and it's back with the Republic of Ireland international. Scales sends it high over the top. Kyogo's in behind. He looks offside. He does finish brilliantly. Now the flag goes up on the far side. I mean, he did look to be 2 or 3 yards offside, Kyogo, but you never quite know. But it did look like Kilmarnock had held their line correctly on that occasion as the ball was played over the top by Scales for Kyogo. and I'm hearing actually it's very tight, and that's no real surprise because Kyogo often looks like he's well off, but he's excellent movement, John.
Terrific movement. He just waits in that last minute. He's so quick off the mark, creates that gap between him and the defenders. He's took it down well. Great first touch control, good finish, but offside. He always plays on the shoulder, doesn't he? He wants that pass all the time when there's space behind the back four.
Yeah, he tucked it away nicely, and we now await the decision. The VAR is Greg Aitken, who's having a look at it. Yeah, it's confirmed pretty quickly by the officials. It was my instinct, but certainly been wrong before in that regard. But Kyogo denied first goal of the season then, despite a nice finish, a good ball over the top from Scales, but just offside. Here come Kilmarnock as Wales into the penalty area, tries to just check back to get the shot away, and Scales denies him that, knocks it out of play. Still 3-0 Celtic then. Into the closing minutes as Danny Armstrong has it up against Palma, almost at the goalie, onto the right foot, curls one in, and Carter Vickers beats Cameron to it. They'll come back out here to Lyons, more or less in the halfway line, right hand side, clips it back into a dangerous area. Cameron has Carter Vickers at his back, and again Carter Vickers judges that one to perfection. The offside flag is up in any case, and Celtic are going to make another change here, and it's Odin Holm who's going to come on for the closing stages to replace Rio Hatate, who got the scoring opened after 17 minutes, and having missed a chunk of last season through injury, he very much looks back to his best as young Odin Holm comes on for the closing 8 minutes or thereabouts.
Good performance, nice to see Hatate back to his old sharp self. Terrible season last year, as you said, with injuries, but when he gets his sharpness back, he's a joy to watch.
Sure is, particularly if you're a Celtic fan. And yeah, it was his goal that opened the scoring after 17 minutes. Celtic added to that through a Liam Scales header 5 minutes before the interval, and then Kuhn with a deflected effort over McCrory on the hour mark. I haven't been able to score more than that as yet, despite having the absolute bulk of pressure. McCrory's done a couple of good saves. Kilmarnock have given a decent account of themselves again, you'd have to say, in defeat, but it has been a case of how many for Celtic for a fair while now, as Palma picks up and then finds Holm. Nice little flick back into the path of Holm, who's chopped down by Brad Lyons, who will go into the referee's notebook for that challenge, and a free kick to Celtic about 30 yards from goal in a good area.
Yeah, lovely play again from Holm, and Palma there just linking up really well, and the Kilmarnock player catches it. Looks as if Palma's taking a sore one.
Yeah, he was on the stretch there, Lyons, with a sort of despairing lunge there, and hopefully Palma was able to recover from this, because he did look to go down.
He looks in a lot of pain. He looks in a lot of pain there. It looks like ankle.
Yeah, looks like Lyons just caught him a little bit high, and there'll certainly be an opportunity here for Celtic to notch the fourth goal, just slightly left the centre, about 28 yards maybe from goal, certainly within shooting distance for more than one of the Celtic squad. Matt O'Reilly, you would imagine, will fancy his chances once the ball is placed, as Palma continues to receive treatment. It's another bruising day for Kilmarnock at Celtic Park. As I mentioned before, they've only won once here in their previous 83 visits. That was back in October 2012 under Kenny Shields. Were you in the
playing that game,
team
yes.
that day?
I was.
It's a feather in your cap then. But it's not going to be repeated today, that's for sure. Celtic have been much too good as Palma gets back to his feet, and still doesn't look very comfortable. He will be allowed to stay on the field of play because Brad Lyons was booked for the challenge. So it's Holm or O'Reilly over this. Holm with the right foot, O'Reilly with the left. You'd imagine that O'Reilly's going to pull rank here, but you never know. Callum McGregor having a word with him as actually O'Reilly, he just clips it over for Kyogo, just wide, but Kyogo was clattered by McCrory. The Celtic fans want a penalty. Well, the immediately been restarted. And I mean, VAR could still bring it back even though the game has restarted. Kyogo's been left in a crumpled heap, and Don Robertson's now stopped to allow treatment for him. Well, it was a cute free kick by O'Reilly. He just lifted it over the wall. Kyogo was already on the move. He knocked it wide, but McCrory did clatter him, and I would like to see that again. There's a suggestion it might have been offside as well, but certainly there was no penalty given at the time, and so there was no award made by the referee. He's checked with Kyogo whether he needs treatment, and Kyogo has said he doesn't. So there's still an opportunity for Greg Aitken, the VAR, to check this, of course. Kilmarnock did restart the game very, very quickly, but nonetheless, in such instances, if VAR has spotted something, they can bring that back. And Kyogo's still, I mean, he said he doesn't need treatment, but he's still sitting on the 6 yard. I don't quite understand.
Listen, it was an outrageous free kick from O'Reilly. He just sees a little flick over the top of the wall, and Kyogo gets there. I think it's a collision for me. The goalie's trying to make himself big, and it ends up a collision. But
it must have been Kyogo's, his momentum taking him into the goalkeeper rather than the goalkeeper coming into him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Kilmarnock going to make a final change. Former Celt Gary Mackay-Stephen is coming on for Fraser Murray, as Kyogo has picked himself up, and he's just still looking pretty sorry for himself. Certainly took a sore one, no doubt about that. Be interesting to see that one back as to exactly what happened, but as you mentioned, Cammy, it's outrageous what O'Reilly tries, but again, it's clearly something. And Callum McGregor had a wee word with him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And they must have been saying, well, why not give it a go? Kyogo was on his toes as always, and he's almost nipped in to score Celtic's fourth.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and again, just shows you the confidence O'Reilly's playing with at the moment. He's been fantastic in this game, and it's something different. He brings something different to this Celtic team, so it'll be a big job for Brendan to try and keep a hold of him in this window.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're never quite sure how accurate reports of bids going in and what the numbers involved are. I mean, there's talk of like 15 million and stuff like that, and well, I mean, Celtic would surely laugh that out the door.
I mean, you talk about Scott McTominay being 30 million.
Yeah.
If I was analysing, I like Scott McTominay, but I think Matt O'Reilly's a better player. He's got more in his locker than Scott McTominay.
Yeah, I mean, Celtic, you've got to be looking at 25 million or thereabouts. I mean, that would be my take on it, but
no, I agree. I think his age as well, but he's still very young. Yeah. He's a fantastic player, so they'll be looking at a big figure if he was to move on.
But you never know, he might be here for the Champions League campaign that's to come, and that's another thing for the Celtic fans to look forward to, straight into the new league stage of the Champions League, and interesting to see how all that pans out. Celtic with 8 games guaranteed in that league stage, and aiming for a playoff spot. It'll take us all a while, I imagine, to get used to the new format, but that's all to come. Celtic leading by 3-0 with about a minute and a half remaining in the 90, but there will be a sizable chunk to be added on. I would guess about 5 minutes or thereabouts at the end for the stoppages we've had in this second period. Celtic in possession through Cameron Carter-Vickers just inside his own half. Plays it short to McGregor, who plays it on to Scales. Scales out to the left-hand side for Palma. Palma looks like he's recovered from the knock he took in the challenge from Lyons. Plays it to the edge of the box. Taylor swipes that goalwards, and it's come off a Kilmarnock player and behind for a corner. Into the final minute of the 90. Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Another good bit of play then. Greg Taylor continues his run forward, comes inside, gets his shot away, and Kilmarnock at the block corner.
It's going to be 5 minutes, I think, as O'Reilly lines up this corner kick from the left-hand side. Outswinger, deep one, comes to Scales, made a mess of the connection there. Came to his feet rather than his head, which was perhaps the issue, although he is, as we've discussed on more than one occasion, pretty good with his feet, but he didn't get that connection right at all, and the chance was gone, and Callum McGregor's knocked all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel, but that does go down, John, as another opportunity missed.
Yep, again, delivery from the wide areas. O'Reilly is putting brilliant balls, and every time he goes to take a free kick or a corner, it's the right height, the right pace, just for forwards to go and attack it. And defenders hate those balls at that height.
You would have to imagine that Celtic are, in the course of the next month, going to add a couple of probably really quality players. You would imagine that's what the fans would be crying out for, and that is ominous for the rest of the league, isn't it, given the way they started this season?
Yeah, without a doubt. They've got a lot of quality players on the football pitch just now, and you add a couple, 2 or 3 to that if they can. It's not as easy as people think, getting better than what you've got.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they've got 1 or 2 targets that you'll find will probably be in the building by the end of the month.
Paulo Bernardo back in the building, but unused this afternoon. He has done a pre-season with Benfica, but not yet considered ready to come on this afternoon. But the Celtic fans, I think for the most part, pretty pleased to see him back on a permanent deal from Benfica, as Carter Vickers picks up in the middle of the park, and just in the last 2 or 3 minutes, signs that Celtic at last have just maybe taken the foot off the gas a wee bit, but for the most part in this game they've really pressed to try and add to their tally. But 3 it will likely be, unless they can find a 4th goal in these closing minutes of injury time. Scales picks up. Palma, they're not averse to a late goal right enough, Celtic, as most teams have found to their cost over the years. Here is Palma looking for O'Reilly, but McKenzie read it and knocked it up towards the halfway line. Carter Vickers leaves that to Ralston. Ralston in the right back position. Good composure again, just plays that and gets the 1-2 with Carter Vickers, and now it's Scales midway inside his own half. 2 minutes of injury time have come and gone, as Carter Vickers picks up just inside his own half, plays it out to the right hand side to Yang, who hasn't yet been able to make an impact, but he's poked that through nicely for Callum McGregor on the edge of the box. Takes the shot on his right foot, hacked away by Mayo in the 6-yard box, breaks to O'Reilly at the edge of the box, tries to curl it to the top corner, just off target from the midfielder, and it remains Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Another good opportunity. He's tried to reverse and whip into that top corner, just gets too much in it. A brilliant touch from Yang coming inside that started off the move. But as you say, they've been so in control of this game. The last 5-10 minutes have just controlled it with passes at the back, and they'll be happy with the work that's been done today.
Yep, they sure will. Derek McInnes, for his part, a really tough way to start the season. A visit to Celtic Park on the back of a couple of difficult enough European games. He will certainly take what he can from this one and then just try and put it to the back of his mind, I guess. It doesn't get any more difficult than this in domestic football.
No, it's a really tough start, and as you say, they had the European stuff involved in it. They've got Thursday night to look forward to as well, so this won't define Kilmarnock's season coming to Celtic Park. He'll be disappointed with the goals that they've lost, but again, there's been some positive performances in there as well.
It was a 5-0 victory down at Rugby Park in May, which wrapped up the league title for Celtic, and it's going to be another emphatic victory to start the season as well. And could get even more emphatic as Callum McGregor's dragged back, but he still gets the pass off to O'Reilly. Kyogo from the edge of the box, saved by McCrory. On the rebound, slid in by Ralston. Celtic do have the 4th goal, and Anthony Ralston from a tight angle, following up after McCrory saved well from McGregor, from Kyogo, but he can only push it out to his left-hand side, and he was punished by Anthony Ralston, the substitute, who notches his 1st goal of the season and makes it Celtic 4, Kilmarnock 0.
Terrific goal from Celtic's point of view. McGregor in the midfield picks it up, drives forward, drives past to try and pull him down. He gets his pass away. And what do you got? Full back up in the final third, tapping in Ralston. Probably a fair reflection of the game. 4-0 is probably a fair result.
Yeah, brilliant from McGregor. Just shows that energy when he picks the ball up, starts the move, and he played with a real intent. It was a good save from McCrory, and Ralston's done really well to fit it in from that angle through the legs of Robbie McCrory.
Anthony Ralston with a 1st goal in 3 years to round things off for Celtic by the looks of it. And you'd have to say it doesn't flatter them, 4-0.
they've been brilliant for their 4-0 victory here today. They've played with a real intensity, quality. Yeah, it's been great from Celtic's point of view.
It's all over at Celtic Park. What a way to start the season, top of the table. For what that's worth, one game in, but very much a statement of intent, picking up where they left off at the end of last season with a flourish and good value for the comfortable victory. 2 goals in either half. It was Rio Hatate in 17 minutes from the edge of the box into the bottom corner who got things off and running. Added to by Liam Scales before the interval, climbing to meet a Matt O'Reilly corner and heading away into the far corner to make it 2-0. And Celtic didn't let up in the second period. And on the hour mark, it was Nicholas Kuhn cutting in from the right-hand side. Got the shot away, it was deflected over the diving McCrory. No way he could do anything about that. Into the back of the net to make it 3. Kyogo thought he made it 4 with 10 minutes to go, but he was flagged offside. But into injury time, it was a Kyogo shot saved by McCrory, pushed away to his left. But on the follow-up, substitute Anthony Ralston, a first goal in 3 years for him in Celtic colours, to round things off perfectly for Celtic. What a way to start the season. They have been excellent from the off, and good value for the victory. It finished at Celtic Park. Celtic 4, Kilmarnock 0.